Hey everyone, welcome to our small footprint. Today is the 17th, which happens to be my birthday, and last year we got our first frost on the 17th. The year before that was the 10th, so we're late getting frost. This rain has impacted the weather. The nights are still staying above 5 at the moment, but there's a risk now of frost any day. So what I want to do today is harvest some of these Loofah that we've been talking about behind us. I want to try and find any that are a bit yellow and squishy and cut them down now so that I have them and save them and don't have to worry about it. And then I might have a quick look around, see if there's any more pumpkins, things like that. Not that that really matters, because if the vine dies off, the pumpkins should still be fine. I want to check them though, because there has been some rain. Make sure that there's none that are split that are there as well. Otherwise they'll rot in place and that'll just attract bugs to ones that potentially haven't split. So I'm going to do that. I haven't really got a video set up for you today in food wise. I've taken a bit of a break from behind the camera. We were supposed to get the community food hamper on the weekend and we didn't because of the flooding. They couldn't get through. So that will be this weekend, so I'll share that with you when I get it this weekend. But it means that food levels, I haven't had anything that's needed to be specifically preserved or anything, because I haven't had anything that's come in bulk. I did one of my pork roasts yesterday. My mincer piece still hasn't turned up, which is really frustrating. So I may end up not being able to make sausages this month at all. May have to make them next month. So the date on the pork roast, the last one we got left, is tomorrow, so I'll have to cook it tomorrow regardless. But I did one yesterday, and I did Kahlua pork, which is basically Himalayan pink salt, some bacon, that sort of thing, and you pull it. And normally I would do it in the slow cooker, but we're having power issues because of the weather. So I didn't do it in the slow cooker, I did it in the pressure canner. The pressure cooker, can work as both, my stainless steel pressure cooker. And I did the whole... it's a 7 kilo roast, but once you take the skin and stuff off, I'm not sure how much it weighed, I didn't check, in there with some bacon and some whole garlic cloves and a bit of Himalayan salt, and pulled it, and it was delicious. So we will probably do that with the second one, or I might can it, because then I don't have to freeze it. I can stick it on the shelves, just can it in cubes with a bit of bacon and garlic in it as well. Do the same, basically you're pressure canning it in the jars instead of in the pressure canner, and then it's shelf stable. So we'll see. That might be a project for tomorrow. Actually, come to think of it, maybe I should just can it. Don't know. We'll see how we go, and I'll let you know what I do with that. I'll show you if I put it in the pressure canner, or if I can it, or if I put it directly cooked. I'll let you see how I did it. I think Darryl is planning today to make me a cake, so I've got a few bits and pieces to get done, but I will stay out of the kitchen mostly. I've got a bunch of typing that I've got to get done and some admin work, so I'll work on that. I did wake up to a gift this morning. I will show it to you in a minute. It's a gorgeous wire chicken egg holder, so that's very nice, and I will pull that out to show you shortly. I'm out in the yard at the moment, so I didn't think to bring it with me. But let's get these Loofahs. Let's have a scrounge through and see what we can find, and I will see how we go. Because I don't have a lavalier mic yet, another one of that thing that I've been talking about, I can't talk to you while I'm doing it, because the mic is a single direction mic that's on the camera. So I will probably just end up speeding this up and point it in the general direction of the plants, and we'll see what footage we get and what we don't, and I'll come back to you afterwards. Because these ones have been sitting on the ground, we've got some issues with, let's see if I can get this in focus, some slugs and stuff on them. So with this wet weather and stuff, definitely worth getting them picked up, and I'll have to give them a hose off probably before I store them. So I've got this orange bread crate here that got given to us with one of the food hampers, so I'm just going to stack them in that for the moment, because I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to put them yet, but this will do for the moment. One tore at the top. I don't know if that's going to affect drying. I'll have to look that up. It's ready. It's squishy, and slightly squishy, and it's got the yellowing to it, but yeah, that top tore, and I don't know whether that will be a bit like pumpkins. If you break the tops of the pumpkins, you can't cure them because it's an access point for bacteria, but I'll have to look that up and see. Maybe I Not sure. I'll have to have a look. Alright, so it looks like I got all the ones that were here. Let me show you these. That's a significant harvest. I did manage to tear a second one. It was up on the solar panels, and when I was trying to get it down, it snapped. So we've got a few more inside the structure as well, but there is quite a few here that aren't big enough to harvest, so I'm still going to just let them go, and hopefully some of them will get a bit bigger during the warmer weather that we seem to be having. But I didn't want to risk So we've got these ones here that you always see behind me when I'm doing my filming. This one's got a bit of discoloration, but it's squishy. That one's very squishy. So is that one. So we're going to pull these ones and we'll see. And then there's that one that's sitting up here too that I'll check. But excusing the mess here, because this is just a storage shed. We also have some hanging over here off the side there, and I think there's even some of the vine that has gone out into the weeds here, so I'll have to check that for some as well. So let me see what else I can find. I'm not tall enough to grab this one in here, so I'm going to get Darryl to come out and give me a hand to grab that one, because it's up near the pole on the solar panels and I just can't quite reach it. So the next thing I need to do is I need to tidy up the strawberry bed. So the strawberries have sent out lots of runners. Some of them have got really well established root structures, so I need to snip them from the mother plant, because otherwise they will keep on drawing from the mother plant won't produce next year. So the runners are sort of they have like an umbilical cord, and if the runners haven't got a significant root structure of their own, they won't survive if you snip it. So you can't snip the little tiny ones until they've rooted, but the bigger ones you can, and you can dig them up and relocate them. So the plan is to go through this bed, have a look at what's going on. There's some really big bare pots, so if I can get some decent rooted runners from further down to bring up to the front, that would be really good to fill in some of these blank spots. But I also want to go through and snip some of the runners off the mother plants if I see them and they're already well rooted, just to give all the plants as much ability to grow as they can. We don't get really significant winters here, so the whole, some people leave their runners attached to the mothers over the winter because they need that extra oomph to get through the winter, but because we don't get snow and things like that, they tend to stay somewhat green most of the year, so they don't require that as much, so snipping them is fine. I'll just have to make sure to come out and water them over the next couple of days, the ones that I put back in. But let's have a look at what we've got here. Alright, I've repositioned the mic, hopefully this will work. So if you look here, right, this plant here is connected by this branch here, this runner here. So I'm going to snip that one because it doesn't need to draw from the mother anymore, because it's a well and truly established plant. But this, these little runners down the side there, let me tilt you slightly, these little runners that are on the edge here come from that runner already. These little ones here, and they're not well established enough yet to snip or to dig up and put elsewhere. They just wouldn't survive, they're too small. So I'm going to leave them for the moment and come back for those. But if you look at this one here, it's still got a really significant umbilical cord because it's still using it, and it's not rooted fantastically well, so I won't snip that one yet. This one here, the umbilical cord's already starting to dry out and it's rooted, so I will leave that one, and that one's right on the edge of the bed there, so I might try and dig that one up. Go. So that one has a fairly good root structure on it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant that over in this blank spot over here in the bed, rather than it running off the edges of the bed into the walkways. So there we go, new plant in there, and that tray must have caught some rainwater, so I've used that to water that in slightly. So basically I'm just going to do that along the length of the bed, snip some runner cords and move anything that's going a little bit out of the bed further into the bed. And the hope is that next year, I probably don't have enough this year, but next year I can start a second bed of strawberries. Get some new plants in as well, because it's always good to get some new plants, and maybe I'll do that this year. They're selling runners pretty cheap at the moment, like $1 each, so maybe I'll start a new bed now with some new runners as well, because one strawberry bed is never enough. I planted a row of peas, I was talking about it the other day, in here, and they have just started pushing through. You got one here, and there's one. Let me see if I can find it. I'm in bad lighting. There's a couple of them anyway, sprouting up along here, which is nice to see. So that's cool. And then the beetroot won't be coming through yet, I wouldn't think. Oh no, look, got little beetroot coming through there. Probably some more, it's hard to see in the mulch, but that's pretty neat to see that one. I'm going to come out and water these today because we haven't had much rain in the last couple of days. So we got beetroot coming up there. What else did we plant? Carrots and stuff. Carrots take longer, and some brassicas. We'll go have a look and see if any of that has sprouted. My peppers are still coming in, some in this last bit of heat and stuff. Still got quite a few shishitos there. A lot of them are sad. We got hit with really bad pest pressure initially, and they've recovered somewhat since then, but they're still not doing great. But we are still getting plenty off them, and I will have enough to make another big batch of cowboy candy, which will be nice, and that'll get us through until next summer. Some of the tomatoes are putting on a last flush of cherry tomatoes too, some of the plants that are left behind, which is kind of neat. So this is my garlic bed, and we have a lot sprouting, which is really great. You can see that there. But this is the problem we're running into at the moment, is we're getting another bit of a plague of mice. And they go in and they eat the plants out from underneath. So I don't know how we're going to fare with this. We still do have some damage occurring to the garlic as well, and I did notice that the guinea fowl were dirt bathing up here earlier the other day. We do have some good germination coming through in some spots, but yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to go, which is a little unfortunate. Lucky we got all that extra garlic to process, so if we don't grow our own, we're not going to be completely without garlic. Now this is the carrot bed, and I don't expect to see anything sprouting yet. Carrots take a while, but I've just pulled the mulch back a little bit, and the soil is lovely and moist under there, so hopefully we will get some germination going with that. I will water that again today. And I didn't expect it, but look, there's first little brassica sprout there. So there's probably more in here, but that's the first one that I saw. Oh look, there's a few here, because I sowed pretty heavily because I intend to thin it out. So we've got some sprouting in here as well. Thank you for coming along with me today on my birthday to do a bit of a wander around. I suppose we have a homestead, though I hesitate to call it a homestead because it's small, I suppose. I don't know. We don't have very many animals. We don't have things like the goats and the cows and stuff. We don't have the machinery. We don't have the tractors. We don't have, any of that sort of thing. But I suppose it's a small homestead. So thank you very much for joining me today. It's getting warm out now. I have no idea what the time is, but I need to go in and edit this and put it up. And I will see you again next time. Thanks for joining me.